Hey guys, this is Richard with a Better Lemonade Stand, and in this video I'm going to be talking about logo generators. So there's a couple different categories really of online logo generators or ways to generate logos in general. So the first is free logo generators. These are things that'll spit out something that you can just download and you can use immediately. Low-cost logo generators, which in my opinion is somewhere around anywhere from like $5 to like $20, $25. And you get to like medium to high cost. So medium I'd say is somewhere around 25 to like maybe about $100, and then high cost. Really, to me, that's like a designer that's going to be charging you, anywhere from like 500 to like a couple $1,000 to generate a professional logo for your business. So I'm mostly going to be focusing in on free and low cost, but I'm going to also show you a couple of medium ones because around the $50 to $100 price point, you can get some really great stuff actually, and I think it's really worth it. So what I did to kind of put everything on an even playing field was I basically came up with a challenge, and I wanted to use each one of these logo generation methods to recreate a logo that I currently have for my online store, Finch Goods. And so I used each tool, and I kind of gave myself a maximum of 10 minutes per tool, just because I didn't want to spend forever with each tool. And so this is my current brand. It kind of gives you a sense of kind of what I'm going for, the look and the feel. You can see my current logo up in the corner there, Finch Goods. This is my full logo. Here I'm just sort of using a portion of it just to keep it smaller so that the top bar there isn't too big. So the first one that we're going to look at is called With Oomph, if I could pronounce that properly. Now this tool is basically, it's free to create the logo, but if you want to download the high resolution version of it, it's going to cost you between $39 and $79. And so basically you input your company name or your brand's name, and it's going to kind of generate a bunch of these logos. I mean, it generates, I think, like a couple dozen or something like that. But you can kind of get a sense of what they look for just by looking at this page here. Everything felt like very clip art. It felt like early 2000s kind of clip art, even the colors and stuff that were used. Wasn't too impressed with it. Didn't love really any of the logos that came out of it. Once you do select one, though, it does allow you to kind of change the fonts around and change the colors. However, as the final product, I didn't really love it. I ended up choosing something very simple because it just looked the most clean, I guess. But even this I don't love. And so, to play around with it, it's free, so you might as well try it to see what you can come up with. If you come up with something you really love, for $39 to $79, it's not a terrible price point. I feel it's a little bit high though for the quality and caliber of the logos that they're outputting, but it's worth a try being free. So the next one was the Hipster logo generator. So the Hipster logo generator clearly is going to appeal to a certain demographic, a certain audience, and a certain brand. This fortunately worked pretty well for my brand, as I already kind of have a bit of a vintage vibe to the brand and to my current logo. And so for me, I didn't mind this tool too much. The interface was really clean too, as you can see from here. Very, very clean interface. It was really easy, really intuitive to use. And I ended up creating this particular logo. You can see I'm kind of missing the Finch Goods across the banner. Once again, I kind of just ran out of time, but I already had a good sense of how the tool worked and what the logos were going to look like. Overall, if it fits for your brand, if you kind of going for this like hipster vintage vibe, this is a great tool, and I think it could work for a lot of people, but it's not going to work for everybody, that's for sure. So then the next tool that we tried was the Squarespace logo generator by Squarespace. And so the logos that this outputs is free if you're on Squarespace. If you're not, they're $10 per logo. Once again, a very clean interface. There wasn't a lot of options, I guess it felt like, for the types of fonts and the icons that you can use. It was okay. It was really easy to use and it was kind of fun to use. But I didn't love the logo in the end. This is what I ended up coming up with. I don't even really know what that cross means in there. I kind of sort of gave up near the end there. But I do think it has potential, and I think there's something there, and I think it could work for some people and some brands. And once again, it's free to use, free to play around with, and see what you can make with it. And if you can make something good, $10 is a very reasonable rate. The next one was graphic springs. So this one, I believe it allows you to download the logo in low resolution for free, and then the high resolution is $39. Now, just to be clear, when I say low resolution, I think it's like 200 by 200 pixels. Like we're literally talking about like the size of a penny here. It's really useless. So pretty much, if you like the logo, you got to spend 39 bucks. They had a really clean interface, really intuitive, really easy to use. However, I mean, as you can see from here, all the icons look like they literally came out of, Microsoft clip art. Even the colors and stuff felt like, late 90s even. Didn't find anything I liked here at all. I pretty much gave up on my particular logo design. I ended up creating this. I think it's terrible. I hate it. But, once again, it's free to try, so it's worth exploring and spending maybe 10-15 minutes on to see if you can find anything that you really like in it. The next one was Loga Stirrer, and this is free to download the low resolution, $10 to purchase the high resolution version of the logo. Again, didn't really love the output of it. I ended up pretty much giving up on this, and I think that's a fingerprint maybe, but I didn't love it. There was nothing I could find. It was even worse than the previous tool, Graphic Springs. This was probably the worst one out of the bunch that I tried, to be honest with you. So give it a try. It's free to play around with, but I probably wouldn't waste too much time on this one. And another one, Loga Stirrer. This is $5. If you like the logo, once again, free to play with, free to experiment. Did not come up with anything. Basically, this one's a little bit different. This allows you to draw some sort of shape or image or something like that, and it kind of creates this geometric logo shape from it. In theory, it sounded good. Ended up working really poorly, as you can see from here. I just wanted to create an F, turn that into something that looked good, and as you can see, it kind of didn't really live up to the promise, and so I totally gave up on this one. And I played around with a couple shapes too, just really didn't work. So maybe spend a couple minutes on it, but move on. There's better tools out there. So the next one is Fiverr. So this is kind of gets a lot of heated arguments amongst designers and bootstrappers, I guess, bootstrapping entrepreneurs. Fiverr, in my opinion, has its place. So you're not going to get an original logo. If someone's telling you that they're going to design an original logo for you for $5, it's not going to be original. It's probably going to use clip art. It's probably going to be copyrighted. It's probably going to be stolen. One or all of the above, basically. However, where Fiverr is useful and where I see value in it is if you find someone that's using templates, and then you basically are getting them to insert your brand name into the template, because then you know exactly what you're going to get and what the logo is going to look like ultimately in the end. And it's not going to be original, that's for sure. It's a template, but it's going to work, I think, for its purpose, and for $5, I think it makes a lot of sense if you really, really like the logo and the template that they're using. So this was the logo I got commissioned. I don't love it. However, I did choose it pretty hastily. I didn't look too much into it to try and find a great designer, or a great template. But this is what I ended up coming up with. So now, talking about templates, my favorite place to get templates is Creative Market. So the difference here is that you got to actually edit the template yourself, and to do this, you're going to need Adobe Illustrator. Actually, you need Adobe Illustrator for the most part. I was going to say Photoshop, but you really need Adobe Illustrator. It is pretty simple. It's a matter of kind of like clicking on the words and then editing the words. So you can see here's one template. This is actually what I used for my brand, Finch Goods. I purchased this template. I think it was like $10 for this one, and it gives you all 6 of these logos basically that you can use, and all you have to do is just edit the text basically and change it to your name. And so that's how I came up with my logo for Finch Goods, and I kind of mixed and matched a couple of these logos together, and I created this one. And so Creative Market is really great. It's really top-notch, high-quality stuff from some really great designers, and the templates are really, really beautiful for the most part. And at the price of like $10, it's definitely worth it. The only thing there is that you need to know how to use Illustrator, at least kind of, or you at least need to have Illustrator on your computer in order to edit them. So then this is a new one that I just came across, and this one's probably my favorite at this point now. So it's called Taylor, and the website is taylorbrands.com. And this one is going to ask you a series of about, I think it's about 6 questions, kind of about your brand and your name, and they're going to kind of ask you a couple questions like which logo do you like better, and they'll give you a couple choices. And ultimately, it's going to output 6 logos for you. And then from there, you can choose one of them and kind of edit and tweak it a little bit. But the great thing about it is that you can always go back and you can change your answer to some of the questions, and you're going to get 6 different ones. And so you can see here's kind of a bunch of the logos that it outputted for me. Based on kind of my feedback on it. And so, overall they're not bad. Some of them I actually like, and there were some other ones that it outputted that I haven't included here that I actually really liked, and it was a fun experience actually based on the questions that they were asking me. I really enjoyed using the tool. It was really simple to use. And so yeah, that was probably my favorite at this point right now, and the cost was $24, and that's just to purchase like the logo. And then to go up to like the $99 package, they'll also include things like a banner for Facebook and a banner for Twitter and stuff like that, already pre-made with your logo on it, and a bunch of other stuff. So it's actually a really good package for people just starting out, and the price is actually really reasonable and really fair. So with that said, there are a couple of other options that you have available to you. Number one, you can use just fonts. There's a lot of free fonts out there. There's a lot of premium fonts out there. They can range anywhere from free to $100, sometimes even a couple $100, depending on the font, who made it, and how intricate it is. But there's some really great options out there. There's the classic 99 Designs. 99 Designs hasn't really been good in a while, in my experience. Even at the beginning, it was kind of plagued with people just doing clip art designs and stuff like that. And so, it is an option for you though, and it's a fair option, I think, for someone that's just starting out. The other thing too is you can use someone like Shopify Experts. So these are professional designers that have a profile up on the Shopify Experts marketplace, and they're going to charge anywhere from $500 to a couple $1,000, depending on who you're going with, whether it's just a freelancer or an agency. But this is an option if you have more money. And then the final option would be like Dribbble. Dribbble is a design community where designers showcase their work. It's a really good place to go and kind of get logo designs. And if you see someone that's created something that you really like, it's worth it to go and send them a message and ask them, what they would charge for something similar or to create you a logo. But really, it's a great place just to go and see artists' work and find an artist that kind of speaks to you and their work speaks to you. Not just talking actually about fonts, I just wanted to show you guys, there's a lot of brands that just do use fonts. Beard Brand is a classic e-commerce story. They pretty much just use a font there, a very simple font. Luxy Hair, since they started, they've always just used a very nice script font, but their logo really hasn't changed, and that's what they've always used. Even Pebble Watch just uses a font. So, you don't have to get too elaborate. Things don't have to get too crazy. You can really just kind of get by with a nice font that you think works for your brand. And here's a font that I've purchased in the past. I didn't buy one specifically for Finch Goods, but I just kind of wanted to show you, what you can kind of get. Like, this is just a font. This isn't a logo that was created for me or anything like that. It was a font that I've purchased in the past, and I just used it, and I just typed in Finch Goods, and this is what I got. So it's a really good option. So, coming up with a logo, it's a difficult sticking point for a lot of people. A lot of people want to come up with something that they're really proud of, that they feel really represents the brand, and that's fair, because it is sort of the face of your brand, and it's something that you should be proud of. So, try all the different free options. Don't be afraid to spend some money. If you waste $10 or $15 trying a couple of gigs on Fiverr, in the scheme of things, it's really not much. So play around, try all the different free tools. Maybe try purchasing a template from Creative Market for $10, $15, and try editing it in Illustrator. You can probably get like a 30-day trial of Illustrator and download it and try playing with it. Try each one of these options, because when you're starting an e-commerce business, it probably doesn't make sense when you're first starting out to spend a couple $1,000s on a logo from a designer, and that's fair enough, and you should be proud of what you do create. So, explore your options, spend a little bit of money, and see what you come out with. You can get more information at betterlemonadestand.com. I've included, there's a couple of resource lists there, including one with a few other logo makers and generators, as well as some other resources for creating your logo. And I appreciate you guys listening today.